Good evening, or if you can hear me clearly. So if you can hear me clearly and see my screen, just please type in yes so that we can continue. So good evening, all. You're welcome to today's Forex review with Great White FX for the 3rd of October, 3rd of October 2019. So I thank you all for taking your time out of your busy schedule to attend this review. So, as always, we start off with our fundamental calendar. So, tomorrow being the 3rd, Thursday, it seems very cool and calm. Bank holiday in China, bank holiday in Germany. Then ISM manufacturing PMI 3 p.m. 3 p.m. West African time. And apart from that, nothing else major till Friday. So that aside, let's get down to business for today. So I've already started discussing with some of my students, but let me briefly go back to some of these pairs for you guys. You know? So if you remember what I said yesterday, I said that this pair, am I at the right place? No, I'm at the wrong place. Yes, I said something yesterday about this pair. I said you use a fib on this daily because I didn't expect it to drop out straight. And you see what they did? They did a 50% pullback, and that 50% rhymes with this high before the weakness setting. So now this is a scenario we have on the dollar index on an intraday chart. Mind you, most of the levels here are drawn from the daily and 4-hour time frame. So if we look at this scenario now, the scenario here is that this dollar weakness will continue as long as you don't get a close below 99.19. If you get a close below 99.19, you will see further weakness on this pair. But if you get a close above 99.19 to the top side, then you expect price to continue moving higher on this pair. So so as long as price stays below this level and closes below 99.06, then you might see further weakness down towards this trend line, or there's a structural level here. Let me mark it out. Or towards the structural level here. The structural level here. That's what you just need to be aware of for this pair. And you know the dollar index is an inverse of the Euro USD. So the next pair we're going to go to is gold. So looking at gold, well, it's unfortunate gold has taught some people a kind of lesson. And this lesson is only avoided if you learn to understand. I always tell people, it's not the candle that is important. What is more important is the structure. If you get the structure right, the market can't trap you. Gold did a break. Breakout traders sold. But wiser traders would wait for break and retest. The break and retest never came through. And as you can see, how do you know this break now is false? Because gold has closed back into above 1485.65. So what are we expecting tomorrow now? So this is the storyline now. Gold is at this structure point now. Two things. If you get a good 4-hour close below 1498.90, then you might see gold come down to this area. But should you get a good 4-hour close above 1503.69, then you might see gold rally up towards this area, this trend line, or this zone. So if you ask me for now, gold is looking bullish. Might have played. And if you look at this setup now, this is kind of looking like a morning star formation. It's looking like a morning star formation. I've always said, whenever you see price approaching a major level, always be wary. That is where a lot of traders get trapped. So the next pair we're going to look at is the USD CHF. So looking at the USD CHF, the same thing too, just like I said yesterday. I said the USD CHF is sitting on its daily 13. And from experience, this daily 13 most times acts as support. And you see, price dropped to it, then bounced. And that bounce, it cleared all the stops above this area before now coming back down. So now, how do you trade this tomorrow now? As you can see, you already have a kind of setup here already. Let me go down into it a bit. You already have a kind of setup here. We can see you already have what looks like a quasi double top. They spiked above here, which means that stops here have been triggered. So most likely on this pair, they are going to go back down. Then if you look at it again from the daily point of view, you see this trend line. Let me change this trend line to black. So you see this trend line. You see as price spiked above it and failed to close above it. So most likely, you're going to see some weakness on this pair down towards this area, because there's a zone here, this area or this area. So let me mark this out here and here. Mark this out properly. So most likely, so on this. Hello, sorry about that. My network just tripped off suddenly. Network just tripped off suddenly. So if you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please can you type in here so that I can continue? Okay. Sorry about that. So if we're looking at this pair now, if we're looking at this pair as USD CHF, if we're looking at USD CHF, price needs to stay below 0.9990. As long as price stays below there, it's going to continue coming down. And these are the possible areas of destinations for it if it continues to go down. Because as you can see from the daily, you already have 2 spikes to the high. So, and again, you must be careful for this daily 13. That daily 13 comes in at 99.33. That is somewhere here, slightly somewhere here. So you just need to be aware of when price starts coming down to this area. So the next pair we're going to look at is Euro USD. So looking at the Euro USD, just like I said yesterday, you use a fib on the daily. And if you look at this, what the price do, price dropped to the 61.8 and took off. So now this you need to get rid of. Maybe you can still use the fib on this daily. There's a possibility you can still use the fib on this daily, but I'm not so confident of it for now. So what I'm expecting on the intraday chart on this pair is, this is the move, this trend line has been taken. If this area stalls the move, because it might run into here, then drop. Expect this zone. As long as price does not close below 109.36, that's this lower zone here, it might still start moving up. And if you remember yesterday, I said something about this pair yesterday. I said, if it drops, it is going to give you the right shoulder, left, head, and right. So the inverse head and shoulders pattern is already playing out on this pair. So now the storyline is, it has this little obstacle here to clear. If it clears it, then it might move higher. But if it gives it a bit of problem, then you look to buy into the weakness out of this area. As long as it does not close below 1.0936. The next pair we're going to look at is the Euro GBP. Looking at the Euro GBP from the daily, this pair is still trying to move up. More than likely, it is struggling to move up. Let me use the word struggling because I have this here, then I have something like this here. So looking at this pair, it is having a bit of problem at this top area here. So if we go down to our intraday chart, let me see. Let me get this well drawn, because you have to get it very well so that you don't get wrong readings. So looking at this now, yesterday, you see spikes to the low. Are you seeing the spikes to the low? Spikes to the low on this end point to the fact that there are buyers in this area. So this area, I will shift to a blue color. Shift it to a blue color because for now, there seems to be a lot of buying pressure at this area. Shift this to blue as well. And the top area. So now the storyline on this pair is this. As long as price does not go below 0.8888, it needs to break this falling channel. It needs to break it. What do I mean break? It needs to close well above it to continue the bullish trend. Because as long as it stays at this top area and doesn't go above it, there's a greater chance it's going to drop. So that's what you need to be aware of now. So if you ask me, caution, you need to see two things. Either a close back below 0.8880, 0.8888, or a good close above this channel. This channel, this is it like this. Do you see it? They need to clear this top channel very properly. So for this pair, I'll just say caution. I can't say where it is going to for now. The next pair we're going to look at is the GBP USD. So looking at the GBP USD, wicks to the downside as kind of like a bullish signal. Kind of like a bullish signal. And if we go into the intraday chart to look at this pair, well, this pair is still looking bullish, if you ask me. Although it's rejecting at this trend line, but that is not enough reason to give it. It's still in a downtrend, but there's something I need you to look at here. Whenever you see a pair give you something that looks like a W, do you see this? You won't see this clearly except I switch to line chart. Now, do you see this W clearly? If you notice this first, the price has tripped below the prior low. Whenever you see this kind of move, it foretells the potential of a rally to the top side. So if you notice, whenever price came in here, the buyers came out. Whenever they dropped in here, the buyers came out. It might happen again tomorrow. As long as they do not close below 1.2210, as you don't see something like this, then as long as price stays above here, you might just see a drop and then continue to move. So that's what you need to be aware of on this pair. And that's what you need to be pretty much aware of on this pair. It is slightly tilting to the top side. So the next pair we're going to look at is the GBP CHF. The same thing too with the GBP CHF. It has refused to drop further. You can see wicks to the top side showing rejection. But if you look at it on the intraday, so on this pair, if you would ask me, I can say it's more like ranging. It's more like a range. So, but as long as price stays above this 1.2109, it has a great tendency to move to the top side. You can see it's having resistance here and it's finding support here. This point is the mid area. So you just play it accordingly, depending on where you find price and what price gives to you at that point, where you find it. So for now, if you ask me, this pair is ranging. More like neutral. I can't give a serious bias on it. So a serious direction on it because I don't always have a bias. I try not to have a bias going into a pair. So looking at this pair, this is the this is the US, the dollar yen. Looking at the dollar yen, let's see this trend line, this falling trend line that came all the way from the top side there. Price broke above, closed back down, and you see today it has dropped. So now the question is, this is a bearish move, but the deal is where it is about to take place. So there's a potential, there's a possibility that price may dip into here and bounce. So if you ask me, you would need to wait for rallies to sell this pair. You would need to wait for a rally. If you get a rally, then you can take a shot on this pair. So if you ask me, the best area might be somewhere up here. This place will give you better value. Because most times when you want to take a trade, you need to take a trade at an area where those with the power to move the market might most likely be coming in. That's what you just need to be a little bit aware of. So we're looking at this point because it might because if you look at it on the daily, there's structure here, there's structure here. So it might dip. So you might see something like this, then you move up, or you see something like this, then you move lower. So that's a possible scenario tomorrow on this pair. But if you look at it, it's already bearish. There's no doubt about it. It might just continue straight down. So the next pair we're going to look at is the Euro Yen. So looking at the Euro Yen still seems to finally be moving, but it's still sitting above the 618 of this low to this high. So let's go to the Euro Yen on our intraday chart. So you see where it is now. It is struggling at this lower point. And you know, this is the first time in a long time that price has been able to break below, close below this level. So now, as long as they don't close back above 11.71, that's this top area. As long as price does not close above this top area, there's a greater possibility you may see price drop a bit. You might see price drop a bit. So the next pair we're going to look at is the pound yen. Pound yen, bearish close, potential for further drop to the downside. So let's look at it. So most likely this pair might get to this level tomorrow. That is provided they don't close back above this zone. If there's no close back above this zone, if there's no close back above this zone, then you might see price really drop tomorrow. So the next pair we're going to look at is AUD USD. So looking at the AUD USD, AUD USD is respecting this zone, has tested this zone twice, and anytime it got into this zone, it found buyers. And if you look at this zone now, it has the same W formation as the GBP USD. You see it? So for this pair, if you ask me, this is your line in the sand here, this zone up. So the moment you get that, for those who trade this pair, you need to see something like this, then you know it's going to go up. That's just it. Because for now, it might get to this area here and drop. So let me shade out this area a bit. Let's shade it out. This area is resistance. As long as it stays below that area, it might still drop. But when you get a good 4-hour close retest, then you know it might most likely move up. It's a W formation. It's a W formation. So the next pair we're going to look at is the Euro AUD. So looking at the But I didn't look at the AUD USD from the daily view. Let me get an idea of how the AUD USD closed off on the daily time frame. Well, as you can see, wicks to the low. Let's see how it plays out. So let's look at the Euro AUD. Looking at the Euro AUD, let's see how it closed off on the daily. Well, it has a slightly bullish close because it has closed above this area. So the Euro AUD might still power to the upside. So on this pair, it must not close back below 61.10. Price must stay above 61.10. As you can see, this top area is giving it a bit of a trouble. So let me get rid of this and this and this as well. So now the storyline on this pair is this. If they do this, then they are going to move higher. But if they close back below this zone, then you know they are going down. That's just the scenario tomorrow. So you just need to exercise caution because it's still inside this zone. Anything can happen inside this zone. The next pair we're going to look at is the GBP AUD. Looking at the GBP AUD, well, it's still looking like almost indecisive, but still has a bullish bias. So just still the same thing. I'm having, well, I might as well just leave it. Unlike range, you can see it's bullish to almost neutral. Sorry about this. You can see this is a sideways movement. That's just what it's playing. So this is the top and this is the bottom area. So if you're taking this trade, you just need to know where you are at any point in time to take your trade. So another pair I'm going to look at is the USD card. This card, I do not trade this pair because it can play with your emotions badly if you don't know what it's going to do. Not that you need to actually know, but you just need to be aware of what its intention is. And like I said yesterday, if you look at this pair from the intraday perspective, it broke below this blue zone that has been acting as support. But when I got to the daily view, I said that I noticed something. Let me hide all this. I said these two candles, their low are almost at the same place. That this is a bullish anchor candle. And from experience, the bullish anchor candle is open price is always support. As long as the bullish anchor candle's open price is not taken out, price will most always go to the top side. So some people might say maybe oil fell and all that. I don't know. I trade what I see. Everything you need is on the chart. And you see what happened? They came down there and immediately closed back up. And now this is where price is. So now how do we trade this tomorrow? The best bet on this pair, that's for those who trade it. I don't trade it. In fact, I only trade 3 pairs out of the pairs I do analysis on. I only trade 3. I don't trade more than 3. I just give people an opportunity. You just need to wait for something like this and then you move higher. Or, on the other hand, you apply your fib because this move is a fast move. You apply your fib and wait and see what happens. Because where it is on the daily view, I'm not marking it up yet. It's still there, but on the intraday, it might get to here. So you might see price drop a bit because the move is very, very sudden. It's a fast move. When you see this kind of moves, they've moved so fast in so short a time. Most often than not, they will need to cool down. So, and in that cooling down, you see price drop a bit. So now how low it will drop, I don't know. So the best thing you do is you use your fib from your low to your high and watch. So that's it for today. I thank you all for taking your time. This video will be posted to the channel that's Plan Your Trade, Trade Your Plan on YouTube, and the chat will be posted on the Instagram page, Great White FX. So I thank you all for coming, and I wish you all a beautiful night's sleep and a blessed trading day ahead. Thank you. Good night.